Miami. I There's another really interesting one, right? Well, okay, who do you lose? Okay. Most importantly, you lose your offensive coordinator, right?
Most important in terms of key losses.
Yeah, key losses. That
Awesome
was
loss.
that was a key loss. You bring in Shannon Dawson, new hire, right? After Josh Gaddis gets fired, right? He's got an air raid background, but I've heard Shannon Dawson talk, and I think he's still interested in running the ball some. So
He does love to run the ball, but how does because Mario Cristobal is an O line guy. He played O line, he coached O line. He loves his a ground game, but I think he also did a really good job of adjusting. We saw Saban do that when he hired Lane Kiffin. I don't know if Shannon Dawson is going to be Lane Kiffin, obviously for Bama, but Mario Cristobal, credit to him for going out of his comfort zone and doing whatever he can to get Tyler Van Dyke back to himself.
right, okay. So with that being said, 7.5 wins. Is that too much? Is that too little? Or is that just right?
You know what? I lean the over. I'm not going to play it, but I would have to lean the over. I think 8 is more likely than 6. Or I'm sorry, 8 is more likely than 7. But you do have A&M in the out of conference, who should be improved as well. You have to play, at UNC, Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina State, Louisville. It's not an easy ACC schedule. And keep in mind, this team was terrible last year. I do think they get a lot better. They brought in some good transfers. The quarterback or coaching, we talked about Shannon Dawson. Lance Gildry from Marshall is awesome, very aggressive, lots of pre-snap motion movement, very creative. Yes, that worked in the Sun Belt. Is that going to work in a Power Five conference every week? Who knows? But I still think he's good guy. They have a ton of talent on the D line in the secondary. Um, Offensively, I think their O line might be a strength for them, which it was not last year. So credit to Mark Cristobal for overhauling that. It will be about Tyler Van Dyke. How can he get through his progressions? Can this new, quote unquote air raid offense make it easy for his reads and his wide receivers to also make reads too? So we'll see.
I was this close to taking the over. I was this close. And the biggest reason is the offensive line. They stunk last year. They stunk. They were horrendous on the offensive line. But guess what? Um, Francis Mauigoa, right? That's a big time 5-star recruit who already has impressed people in spring. He might start day one. He
He
might
will start.
legitimately start.
He will start at right tackle.
Yeah, Zion Nelson is back at left tackle, who actually was probably one of their bright spots last year.
I'm sorry.
Matt
I said
Lee,
did I say left tackle? I meant right tackle. I'm so sorry.
Zion Nelson.
No, it's for Francis Malgoa.
Yeah, well, I think Michael played right tackle. I think Zion
Yes.
Nelson will play left. That's my guess. Again, I don't know. I'm not coaching there. So Matt Lee's legit NFL talent at center. Come on, he's legit NFL talent at center. Might be a late day 3 guy, but he's legit talent. Javian Cohen from Alabama, who got a lot of snaps. He got a lot of snaps at Bama.
Yeah. And not huge upside there with Javon Cohen. Nothing
No,
like Francis Malgoa or even the other guy that they brought in, Samson Okongloa. He's got to kind of reshape his body and get ready in that Power Five shape. But he's still, I mean, a ton of snaps in the SEC, a ton of Alabama coaching. I mean, you can't replace that.
yeah, and Mario Cristobal, like you said, is not going to have a bad offensive line again. He's not going to allow it. There's no way. So I'm a big fan of that offensive line. I think at wide receiver, Colby Young is a guy I think they've been looking at a lot. His JUCO transfer last year, large, 6'5" burner, high potential right there. Tyler Harrell, who Alabama thought was maybe going to be their savior last year in the wide receiver run, was not. He's from Louisville. But he's super fast, deep threat. He played well at Louisville when he was there. Xavier Restrepo is finally healthy, comes back. So I think their wide receiver room's not looking that bad there. And I appreciate the commitment from Cristobal to go with Shannon Dawson and really develop Tyler Van Dyke. Like, let's make it easy on him, right? The running back room is not super deep, but I like Henry Parrish. She's fine. I would say, like, if you're playing college fantasy football, that's a guy that's in 30-round drafts that's not being drafted a whole lot. If you want to find him there around 28, 29, 30, he's kind of a steal, in my opinion, just because of this offensive line. I think they're that good. Defensively, I think they upgraded a lot. It's still not going to be great. I think their defense was pretty bad last year. I don't think the stats in here do it enough justice because they had a really good secondary last year. Really good. I mean, Stevenson, who was a second round draft pick, Kinchins and Williams, who are both back. Um, I, they had a really good secondary last year, and Kevin Steele, he blew it. He actually blew it, and there was by blowing it, there was a lot of blown coverages like across the board. I don't know if that was just like those guys mentally like didn't have it up there, or if Kevin Steele was just making things too complicated for these guys. Now he only had 1 year to get this defense installed, but I mean, come on. I mean, I like Lance Guidry, 4-3. I mean, he's gonna blitz a lot. He's gonna find ways to get pressure on the quarterback. I mean, he coached an elite Marshall defense, so uh, like we'll see how it translates. He'll have more talent there. I do think so there's Francis Maligo and there's Francisco Maligo, who is Francis Maligo's brother, comes from Oregon. They're loving
Washington
him.
State.
Or sorry, yeah, Washington State. Yeah, we were just talking about with the Oregon transfer linebacker. That's a big loss for Washington State. That is a big get for Miami. He has been reportedly very, very good out of spring. They like him a lot.
He'll start at Mike for them. That was a big hit for them.
Yeah, huge hit, huge hit. And they took 4 corners in the transfer portal, I believe. I'm looking at, but I think Devontae Brown's the biggest one that they got. He's pretty experienced. The defensive line is it's meh. To me, it's meh. I don't know if you have a different opinion on that, but I think the biggest loss of their defense is Lou Hedley, their punter, gone.
Mm-hmm.
See ya. He was fantastic flipping fields. That's why I think like these defensive metrics, like the points per game, is not as high as it was because Lou Hedley was legitimately flipping fields big time when they couldn't get going on offense. So, I guess they like Dylan Joyce is true freshman. I think they like him. I don't know. Again, I haven't seen him punt, so they've been just saying things.
Leonard Taylor on the defensive line was a former 5-star guy that, if he unlocks that talent, but he's played well. He's played fine for them there. It's going to be a bigger rotation on the D line. They lost Daryl Jackson. That's a pretty big loss. He was a big time run stuffer for them. But they got a lot of defensive ends that like, Mesidor, Akeem Mesidor. I'm sorry. Ruben Bain, a true freshman they're bringing in. That maybe not quite ready, but they do like him. And we'll see if he's ready to get some snaps there on the edge. The team will be absolutely better. No doubt about that. Like we both agree. But to win, 3 more games with a lot tougher schedule is why I'm leaning against the over there.
Yeah, I'm very heavily leaning the over. I like that a lot. Their schedule is very tough though, like you said. I mean, Texas A&M, that's a tough out of conference. Clemson, Florida State. It's a tough schedule, so I wasn't ready to commit to that, right? But I still like Tyler Van Dyke. Sue me. He was not good last year at all. He looked pretty bad actually, but sue me. I think he's okay. I think he's okay. So
there was a reason there was some hype to go to Bama and to these other schools that needed a quarterback.
Right.
He's a legit player, and if he can unlock what he was back in 2021 versus 2022, they will win a lot of games, I think. But again, I have a hard time, putting my money on that.
Yep, I'm with you.